All right, so today's video, watching a Bronze 1 Bap and Moira. Best way to explain this game is this support originally starts as Bap and then feels that the other support just wants the DPS, isn't healing. So they ended up going Moira instead because they felt like they would heal more on Moira than DPS like the other support was when they were on Moira. They ended up taking Moira to heal a bit more. So we'll see what happens. They're on Zen. Yes, Bap does a lot of healing. So does Moira. Moira does a good amount of healing. Alrighty, we're off to a start here. That's for sure, yep. So, first... Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the back button here. So just to point something out here in a second, chat, okay? Alright, I need a pause here in a second. You said that you were worried about your teammate that was DPSing. They didn't want to heal. I want to point out that your Zen just died to you trying to DPS your own teammates. So already we're off to a start where you were trying to DPS your own teammates during that. We'll see how it goes. Granted, they were a little bit out of position. Not out of position, but you couldn't heal them. Ooh, we're off to a start. All right. All right, just to start here, you didn't even look at your teammates to heal them. Move forward into your team and then let the heals happen on that one. So far, you've been doing more DPS than the other support. Okay, so you're turning away from the other team when... Pay attention to your teammates' HP. It's good to find that damage with Bap in between, but you're not even looking at, like, your teammates... Yeah, I think it's on console, yeah. Okay, where are you going? Where do you want to go? What's the... Okay. Good window. I like that window. Nice window. Yeah, your Moira definitely is now DPSing. But I also want to point out you're also DPSing a lot. All right, so I see what you're saying about the other support. They like to play aggro. Because so far, I haven't even seen your other support since they died on Zen. That was about 3.5 minutes ago. Big slam. Oh, there's your support. I like how we haven't seen him in forever. They just come out of nowhere with an RKO with Moira out. Job healing there. Nice. Oh, this is... I would like to see you use your bat mobility a little bit more. I feel like sometimes you're not using that bat mobility just so you can see what's happening. It's not going as well as it could. Wait, are they gonna go over the wall here to the top? Nope. It just looked like... Wait, yep, nope. Lamp? I would have liked to see Lamp a little bit earlier just to try and save your Rhino around the corner. I felt like that was gonna be the play. So far, my initial take here is I don't necessarily think this is on your other support yet. Like, they're not there to help, but like there's a lot more happening that can be like worked on. Then yeah, this window's a little bit ambitious. So the lamp, there you go. Yeah, that's gonna... So, yeah, at that point, that's more of like a situation where I don't think you want to use your window there because your teammates aren't there. And if you're gonna even use your window in that situation, you want to do it more at an off angle where they just don't run at you in a straight line. So, you know, you mentioned that your support was DPSing a lot, and I agree with you on one thing. They're very aggressive, and they are DPSing, but you're also spending a lot of the time DPSing also, and like shooting at your teammates, and like lamping your D.Va's. Oh, Like, focus on keeping your team alive right now, especially when you mention that you, like, feel like your other teammate isn't healing. And if that's the case, then you need to focus on keeping your team alive during that. Your DPS is gonna not be as much DPS, right? So, like, yes, I can agree that your Moira's playing aggro. That I will agree with. But I feel like there's stuff that you can improve on now that would help you in this game more than just, like, worrying about what's happening with your Moira. And what you could focus on is when you have a teammate who's not healing as much, you now start healing a little bit more. Work on your positioning. Do less of the... try DPSing a little bit less. And I say that, I know BAP is really good high DPS, and I'm always going to mention, like, you want to find that damage. But if your teammate isn't healing or playing too aggro, then you are going to have to heal them, otherwise your teammates will get rolled, right? So what I'm trying to, like, work on here is find ways to do damage when you can, but don't try to constantly just do damage because you feel like you have to because you're on BAP. The reason why the BAP is now on Moira is because the Moira here said that they felt like the other support just wanted the DPS and didn't want to heal. So they went Moira to make sure that there was healing being done as Moira. That's why they're on Moira now. They felt like the other Moira was not healing, was not playing Moira the way you're supposed to play Moira, and has now gone Moira instead. All right, so far, one thing we've noticed is you don't like to use your mobility as much as you could. Like, that's where you want to use your fade to try to get away from their damage output. And even if they get you, at least at that point, you have to force them to have to move around the map out of position. More than just kind of standing there. So just be careful of that when you're playing Moira here, okay? I don't mind damage orbs right now. That gets you your resources back. I want to see you heal your teammate there. Unfortunately, you were trying to DPS your sim. So definitely try to get a little bit more healing output on your team there. I do know you were a little bit low on the orb. You have a Zen behind you on your team. I want to point that out. There's a Zen behind you on your team that needs help, and so is the Ashe. So far, you mentioned how your Moira wasn't healing, but you have now also not been healing too much, which has become, you want to use your mobility that you have to be able to get to them and create a 1v1 into a 2v1 in your favor. So sometimes you need to kind of look for those opportunities rather than just kind of like, all right. Hey, there we go. I'm okay with the damage orb. I'm okay with the damage orb. You're going to be able to get the lifesteal off of that. Nice job. Now, I want to point something out there, too. You see how that Genji, like, dashed away with low HP? It was a little bit more difficult to finish the elim. Now, imagine if on the other team, when you were playing BAP, you were actually jumping into the air and making it a little bit more difficult. You see what I'm saying? That's why, like, I'm telling you that even though you may think that going into the air is BAP and using your mobility isn't good, sometimes it can just make it so you survive that. Or makes it harder for the other team to get in the limb. In doing so, you'll have more survivability, and your teammates have more opportunity to follow up on people who tunnel vision. See what I'm saying? This is, I think it was PlayStation. PlayStation 5 is what if I recall. Be careful of that one. I love that TP. You went through the TP and you're like, nope, I'm good. Right through the TP, yeah, I'm good. No, I'm okay with this. I'm fine. I want you to focus on your positioning first. I want you to use your fade when it's necessary. Good damage orb. Good play. I'm okay with that. And I will reiterate again, your other support definitely is just having a good time DPS. Like, I have seen enough of the other support to know that's what they're doing, which means that at that point your playstyle needs to adjust a bit. And I think you're getting, like, I'm starting to see you focus on a little bit more of, like, sticking with your team and worrying about those heals, but that's what you need to do in this type of situation, right? You've made a slight adjustment, right? You've made a slight adjustment, and I don't mind that. That's a Zen ult. That was a Zen ult that I've seen, for sure. That was something.
What is it now?
You know? Like it did what it was supposed to do, and I need you to scan your teammates a little bit more and see where they're at, because I really feel like sometimes you, like, the moment that you look at somebody and go, oh, they're okay, we're fine, you just, like, don't ever look back at them. Like, right now, you have focused on Like right there, that could have went the other way because you were so focused on getting that Genji. Then in reality, if you kept your teammates alive, that Genji wouldn't have gotten anybody, and you still could have done that damage output. You just make sure they're good. So like, one thing you can really work on right now is your ability to scan like around the map, see where your teammates are at, and then worry about that first rather than just like healing Orban the Ramatra. Which I kind of healed the Orisa, so it was okay, but... All right. Yeah, you had a good example there. If it was damage orb and heal, then they would have probably just accidentally gotten the Genji, which I agree. So like that's like where like you can improve in those areas. Okay, so now we're talking about, and that is a Moira ultimate that, in my opinion, was just you hit the button to hit the button. Did ulting proactively though? Yeah. I mean, I do say to ult proactively, but my idea of a proactive ultimate is using it to win a team fight and be aggressive, not ult a statue. Because there's nobody there. Now, you're probably going to win this team fight, but it's more about getting you in the good habit of, like, using that ult correctly.
Me and my girlies, we go party till it's early, got me feeling otherworldly tonight.
Good song. Yeah, that was not ideal. So that was on both of you right there. Zenyatta went over there to try to 1v1 a soldier, and you stood in the window against a Widow. You need to recognize your position at that point, because your Zen was out of position and you were out of position. And if both supports are out of position, it's not going to be a good time for your team. So, next time you really need to focus on where you're standing, because you just stood in the window. Like, you were standing still. I want to point out you used half of your resources there to try to heal a soldier that was out of range most of the time. So be careful of, like, overusing your resources unless you find ways to get it back. Almost healed up the Wrecking Ball, but unfortunately it doesn't. They're on the other team. Okay, is it me or you went from not using Fade to just using Fade to Fade? Heal. Nice. Good job. All right. Good hold by your team. Good hold by your team. I like that. Healing orb, good. I like that healing orb. I know it's a little bit like aggressive there, but it guarantees you stay up there. Good start by your team. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Good start by your team. Remember that your damage orb, by the way, your damage orb gives you resources for healing. So when you get a good damage orb in there, you can like constantly keep your teammates healed up, right? Which is why like random damage orbs across the map can be super helpful when nothing else is happening. And your team's playing it well now. Like your Zen's been getting picks. Your Orisa, be careful of your Orisa. I want you to watch behind you for a second. Your Orisa has a little bit of survivability. And now your Orisa just ran into the team. Now you're... Oh, yeah, here we go. See, this is what I mean where it feels like sometimes you focus on, okay, nothing's happening. Now I need to try to damage, but at the same time, maybe I shouldn't try to damage. You don't really know how you want to min-max what you're doing. That's why I always say just scan the field, look at your teammates, see where they're at first, and then do what you have to do damage-wise. Is the Tracer in your back line? Right-click the Tracer a little bit, right? If you feel like there's no damage, right-click that Tracer, right? I don't mind what I'm seeing here on this screen, but you need to give yourself like an extra 2 or 3 seconds on that window. You have the right idea of what you want to do here, but you don't need to wind up your ultimate. The proactive part of it where you're here is good, but you would have a few extra seconds. And now they know what's coming. It's all about timing. You don't need to wind it up, right? You're not like, okay, here it is. You see how much value you ended up getting? Team wins this, right? Teammates, kill your team. You know, it's interesting because I find that you sometimes just don't heal your team. You Want to know how they lost that? I'll tell you what happened, okay? That Moira, rather than go back to the team in a 5v3, decided to go into the back line. Went into the back line, you lost a teammate. Then, you stayed on the point, you worried about DPSing again, spent the whole time DPSing, and then you didn't try to keep your teammates alive because you were up in numbers. Keep this in mind, chat. One of the easiest ways to win a team fight is that when you're up in numbers, if you keep 5 alive, you're going to win that. But people get the tendency of, oh, we're in the lead now, let's just go and finish this and get the game. And that's how you lose team fights, because you just stray away from keeping your team alive and working with your team and just go in. You're not wrong about your teammate not healing, but you're also, like, you're not min-maxing, you're just like kind of, you're right-clicking a wall. Like, it's not, you're not even, like, look at your Bastion back there, right? You have mobility. Your Bastion right now can get healed to full. Look at where you're at on the cart. That Bastion is still back there, okay? Did you see that? At no point did you turn for your Bastion that was low there. You could have faded out, kept your Bastion alive, and then you can win this team fight. Instead, you hard focused so much on what was going on the cart that you didn't even worry about your Bastion. Your teammates. You do not need to win your teammates. Keeping your teammates up right now is what you want to do in this situation. You don't want to brawl. This, okay, yeah, we'll talk about this in a second. All right, so your concern with this game was that your teammate wasn't healing. I need to take Moira from them because my teammate isn't healing. You spent the whole time DPSing. You were so focused on trying to DPS and like, you weren't keeping your teammates alive. I know you're like, you have a support who's not really healing as much in your team, which makes it even more important to keep your teammates alive. And I promise you that if you keep your teammates alive, the damage output you're doing, you can do more of because your teammates are alive. A lot you need to work on when it comes to what you're doing. So focus on keeping your teammates alive and do your damage output. When you play heroes like BAP, use your mobility. When you use heroes like Moira, don't fade randomly just for fun. Like, have a reason to use your cooldowns. And I like, at times you were proactive with your ultimate, but don't like wind up your ultimate or like ulta statue. But yeah, I don't really think that was on your teammate. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, sub to all 3 YouTubes if you haven't. A lot of awesome videos on there. If you want to submit your own spectating, look in the description below. My Discord's there. We have a channel. Also, we record these live on stream. If you look, you can see the chat below there. That's the Twitch chat. They're all vibing, watching some Overwatch. All everything if you haven't. We stream quite a bit. That being said, hope you have an amazing day/night.